Resignation, a fine, and a completely overhauled accounting system, all in the aftermath of a scathing state audit. Not many know much about the Cape Fear Council of Governments, but it performs a vital service for public officials. Now, the efficiency of their work turned upside down all after a state audit. Andrew James is getting answers of who is responsible for what went wrong in tonight's special report.
It's obvious in this particular case that the right people weren't in the right positions and the correct oversight wasn't in the right areas.
In 2017, the Cape Fear Council of Governments had a serious problem. A state audit found that the Workforce Development Board misused nearly $600,000.
There were some discrepancies. It was pretty much, I think, news for all of us.
The audit finding multiple violations from 2015 to 2017. They ranged from improper rent payments and conflict of interest to missing or improperly documenting expenditures for invoicing travel as well as business credit cards.
I did not know the magnitude of the issues that would be found.
New Hanover County Commissioner Jonathan Barfield and Brunswick County Commissioner Randy Thompson, both members of the Council of Governments Board. The intergovernmental agency represents county and municipal leaders from New Hanover, Brunswick, Penner, as well as Columbus counties. Most of the council's budget comes from federal grant money, state allocations, as well as local government dues and fees. I reached out to 10 governments that were a part of the Cape Fear Council of Governments, what their fees and dues were for the council. Out of these 10 alone, they paid upwards to $200,000 annually to the council, money that County Commissioner Randy Thompson at one point really felt was not necessary.
Our county manager and myself had a conversation at one time about whether or not the county even needed to be a part of the COG any longer. But whenever we think that and we talk about that, look at the benefits that we do receive from the COG.
Council of Governments Executive Director Chris May refuted the audit, disagreeing with every finding. Still, changes were made, one being a key change in staff. The audit found a conflict of interest when Cape Fear Workforce Development Finance Committee Chairman Craig Umstead voted in favor of nearly $500,000 in grant money to go to the nonprofit Telamon Corp. Umstead, also a member of Telamon Corporation's board. Now, May and the COG board challenged that charge by the state, saying Umstead was a volunteer to the committee and received no financial gain from the vote. In the end, though, Umstead resigned from his position.
They talked with him and he agreed to step down so it wouldn't be a problem.
The COG rewrote its conflict of interest policy and sent it out to the separate boards as well as staffs. The COG was vindicated after these charges were made. However, the state was not done.
It was a wake-up call. You know, when you think everything's going great and somebody surprises you with something like that.
In my one-on-one with the COG executive director, he admits the audit caught him, as it did many, off guard.
We made, immediate and prompt changes on everything.
Changes such as hiring a new compliance officer over the Workforce Development Board. In the end, the state still held the COG accountable.
All that was said and done, there was never any indication of malfeasance, fraud, or misappropriation of funds. The only problem that was uncovered was that there were procedures that could have been followed better.
The council had to pay up, the auditor's office hitting it with a 5-figure fine.
So for that $22,000, did taxpayers have to foot that bill?
None of it came from member dues or from any of the local government contributions directly. It came from what we typically use for operations and then put into our fund balance. So it came out of our savings account.
The state auditor now tells me the matter is all closed. It's not, though, for those elected officials on the council.
Everyone's eyes have been open to this and making sure that, again, from this point on, that ship runs very smoothly.
I have had a conversation with the executive director. He understands that I fully place responsibility with him for the past and the future.
May feels there has not been a loss of trust from COG members. The council's purpose is to sometimes consult governments when they have similar issues with wasteful or unexplained spending. May now admits it's an uphill climb for the council. Andrew James, WWAY News.
May says that now they've adopted accounting standards to go above and beyond what they had before. They frequently communicate with the state auditor just to make sure they are compliant.